I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, Jesus. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. 'Cause you are way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every mind. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. And you are here, mending every heart. I worship you, Jesus. I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 You're everything I need. You're everything I need. Oh, everything I need is found in you.
Thank you, Father. Wow. This is just absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you probably can't see it right now, but that's me right down there. You can see my, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. You can see right to the side there. That's me. You can see me a little bit better. Good morning, everybody. Mark David Smith. Yeah, we're watching some praise and worship from my church that I go to on Sunday mornings and Wednesday night. You're looking at just one of the most incredible praise and worship bands that there is. This guy right here is Jimmy Anderson, and Jimmy and I have become really good friends. And hopefully, I'm hoping next week on the show to have Jimmy on, and we are going to talk about some praise and worship. But this is a song they did last Sunday morning, and a couple of other songs, a couple of new ones that I absolutely love. That the song Waymaker is just an incredible song. It explodes my spirit every time I hear this song. And anyway, great praise and worship group. Amy, this Amy Dowell, I think, is her name, and it's so amazing because when she sings, it's like effortlessly. You heard her voice; it just comes, just full voice, and she just stands there and sings. It's the Lord just. You just feel the spirit come through her voice into that microphone. It's just absolutely amazing. So once again, I thought I'd share that with you once more. There's praise and worship, and we'll talk more. Hey, Sarah's on with me this morning. We'll talk more right after this.
I like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
So whether or not it's praise and worship or da 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 da, or but it makes bobbleheads out of us. Yeah. So this is my daughter, Sarah Wallace. Anywhere that's on the website where she's on, I put Sarah Smith Wallace, so everybody knows, because I'm quite proud of her and enjoy having her on the show with me. We have very, very similar likes and dislikes, and I think we have the same spirit. It's very cool. I pray that every parent have sons and daughters like you. That's all. I love you. I love you.
That's sweet. I love when our church does that, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. Both my congregations have done Waymaker, and it's just one of my favorites. I love it. It's so good.
Explodes your spirit.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. I love it when it comes on the radio as well, and I'm driving down the road. I'm like, dadgummit, now I gotta pull over.
So if you're driving down the road and you see Sarah pull over, just drive by and go, wait a minute.
I'm either singing or I'm whooping butts.
We're not gonna go there. Usually if I say that, it has something to do with whooping some butt, wanting to whoop some butt of somebody on the road or whatever. But no, of course I'm not like that. Of course I'm not. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great morning like we are. And what's really exciting is that Sarah's on with me 2 weeks in a row. And if you can make it every Wednesday, I'm with you. Anyway, previously on the Compass of kraM, we've had other stuff. Sarah was on last week, and like I just said, and it's always fun because we get to talk about stuff that both of us enjoy talking about. And so one of the things we talked about last week, a couple of things, was kind of Sarah and I's history together of tornadoes, and that is a segment up on the website right now. And also Cameron's trip to Israel. Cameron is Sarah's husband, and so boy, I tell you what, if there's a Wednesday sometime that Cameron's off work, I'd love to have him her Sarah's husband Cameron works for Lion Lamb Ministries. And what was that title again? His title?
Director of Creative Media.
Hey, you know what? I'm the creator of a director of creative media for Lamb.
Yep.
So tell us some highlights. What you got around your neck there? Is that new? Is that
Yes.
new, sweetheart?
Yes. My husband brought back some jewelry for me. So this says life.
Yes. Cain.
So life of Sarah, because I'm Sarah, and his Torah portion actually is the life of Sarah. So when he was born, that was the Torah portion being taught in the synagogues, and so he finds that he loves that fact. And in fact, this Torah cycle, this one that we're in, when we did Life of Sarah, he was actually on the schedule to teach the we do a first five, which is multi-use phrase. So first 5 minutes before the other teaching and the first 5 books of the Bible. And so he was scheduled to teach the life of Sarah, and he was thrilled that he got to do that. So anyway, so he made sure he wanted me to have a necklace that says life. So and I'm a pretty lively person too. So there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he also got the boys some little airplanes. You have American Airlines, and
Cool.
one was a Lego one, so they got to build it together, and got the boy and brought home a big bag of Israeli chocolate, which was really fun.
Oh yeah, I remember bringing some of that back.
Yeah, we all loved chocolate, and so but yeah, he also got, if you've ever heard of the company Ahava, that is the best lotion on the planet. It's Dead Sea Minerals, and it's the only stuff that works for my eczema. I get eczema, and he brought me home like 2 containers of it. So I was really, really, really happy about that. And he brought me a shot glass because I love shot glasses.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you buy me every once in a while.
Yep. Exactly.
Not that we ever drink alcohol. I mean, it's that you can use them for little like shots of vinegar for cooking and all that kind of stuff. Right.
For water, for colloidal silver, which we're doing a lot of.
There you go. Okay.
So yeah, with the virus that's going on and everything, I was a little nervous, with him going overseas, but I trust in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so anyways, once we got home, we've been doing some immune boosting cocktails, and that's what we call them cocktails. And
that's what they are.
Yeah. And so we're doing those and taking our silver and everything. Monty Judah, he developed a little cold, like his allergies got him and everything like that, and just exhaustion. And so with that, I'm like, okay, we're really boosting our immune system. So but he's feeling better. He's doing good. But
Good.
So anyways, actually they were one of the last flights out of Israel. They actually shut down their airport after Cameron left and got home. Yeah. Well, they got word that they were one of the last flights out. I was happy.
Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, they'd have been having to fly 3 people in to.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, yeah, that's what your mom was saying, and that's good. Well, it's good he's home and everybody's settled down, and we're trusting in the Lord that all is well with you and all of us, and so very good.
We got a big year plan this year, so
yeah. One of them is to come and see us.
Yeah.
Which is good. So, and we understand. Tell us about what happened with Emmett and falling on this big glass thing.
Oh boy, howdy. One of the serious, like, scariest moments of my life. So Emmett was playing with his cousin.
Emmett is her oldest son, my grandson, and so
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So his brother was out in the living room playing with us, his little brother. And speaking of, and Emmett was in his room playing with his cousin, and us adults, his aunt and uncle was over, and his grandma. We were all here. And here, so sorry, hold on one second.
all right.
So, anyways, we all of a sudden heard bang, crash, glass shatter, blood curdling scream, and we're, oh my gosh! So my husband runs back here as fast as he can, and his cousin is standing at the door and like trying to tell us what's happened. And Emmett is laying down next to a bunch of shattered glass. And so I remember that you can't just move someone when there's been an accident. You have to make sure that they can move. And so he starts getting up and he's crying, and we're, trying to get him to calm down. And he says that that he was standing on top of a bin and he lost his balance. And this jug that is on the floor that he fell onto is one of those really old glass, like Culligan water containers. So it's thick glass. And we were using it as a piggy bank, essentially. And so every time Cameron came home with extra change, they'd throw it in there. And it was just teaching them to save money and that they can't get into it at all because it's huge. Well, he lost his balance, fell backwards on it. And I noticed that he had like blood. He had blood on the back of his head. And so we're making sure that that's not a shard of glass in there.
Exactly.
And, but it wasn't even like bleeding, like, profusely. It was just like a scratch. So anyways, he was calming down. He was really, really, Cameron and I were both very calm. He was calming down. And then I noticed that there was some shards of glass on his shirt. So I took his shirt off of him so he wouldn't get cut. And I noticed this really long red mark up the middle of his back. And so we kind of were able to put the pieces together, the story together, and he lost his balance, fell on the top of it, which was not broken, and fell back, fell over, and between him hitting it and the bottle hitting against the wall, it shattered. So it was horrible.
It was just like the right combination and where it hit that it broke. Otherwise, maybe it wouldn't have broke at all. But yet still, the Lord caught him. The angel caught him and made sure that it wasn't any worse than that.
Well, also, not only was this next to the Cameron got a Dala horse in Israel, which doesn't make any sense, but he got. Okay, go in the other room. This tub is right next to their window in their room. So him losing his balance, he could have fallen out the window. He could have grabbed. It's also next to their dresser. If he would have grabbed the dresser would have fallen on him. Just a million different things could have happened.
Well, thank you, Lord.
Exactly. So that was our scariest moment ever.
Well, yeah, it like I say, we just we have to trust in the Lord and continuously keep His kingdom coming.
Go in the other room.
Hey, if you need to go take care of something, go take care of something. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna go get him settled. I will be back.
That's good, not a bit of problem. Well, that's good. Wow, it's amazing that we discard things sometimes in thinking that discard our thoughts, and we expect that everything is just going to be perfect, and we'll be able to get through anything, and it doesn't always happen that way. I mean, there are times when we know that the Lord is there and watching over us and our children. Just this past week, also, my wife's co-worker, a lady that's a little younger than her, that she's known for quite some time now. Apparently, her husband went up to get the mail, and a neighbor came up and told her that her husband fell down, and she went out. Her husband's laying on his back, stone cold dead, and out of nowhere. And he had just had a physical. They told him he was 100% good. Everything was great. My wife has met this guy before, and I mean, it seems in perfect health, and the guy fell over dead, and you never know what the deal is. But like I say, it's one of those things where you just have to keep yourself and your family and your friends and your neighborhood, everything about you in prayer, and keep it up, because you just never know when something's going to happen like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is good. This is great. All right. Well, we are, Sarah and I, going to jump into the next section. And so be right back.
Let's all go to the lobby.
So, so you didn't know that I was in movies in the theater. You just saw it right up on the big screen, the audience, the whole thing. Your dad's in the movies. Check it out. Do some black and white talkies. So
favorite.
And also, if I want some applause, sometimes you have to make your own applause. So anyway, we did a segment last week on movie reviews, and also on the next chapter, which is Sandy Craig and Joe Cameron, Sherry Flanagan, and I. We do on Thursdays at the same time, and did a little bit of a movie review last week, and I'm kind of calling it My Media Moments. And that was what you just saw, was the intro to that. And so Sarah and I, Sarah grew up with her dad watching movies and TV shows. I mean, we didn't watch the wacky, whacked out, non whatever,
ridiculous,
movies, ridiculous stuff. Anyway,
but we did go every Tuesday after you close down the close down the shop. We go down the road about a mile, go to Blockbuster every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday?
Yep.
Gosh, I don't remember that, but I'll bet we did. I'm sure we did.
Sometimes we went, well, that's when the new movies came out. So we always were there on Tuesdays.
That's right. Okay.
But we went a lot other time. We went quite a bit. We had our membership there, and I always loved walking around Blockbuster with you.
We must have rented so many we put them out of business, because they're not in business anymore.
No, we were the ones keeping them in business as long as they stayed in business.
We were the only ones keeping them in business. Yeah, that's what it was. Well, we shouldn't have stopped. I guess Redbox shouldn't have popped
Yeah.
up.
We have a family video just down the store from us, and we actually have a membership in there.
Yeah. Family video. We did that too. That's right. All right. Well, so
Gallery.
I've got some good movies and some bad movies that I want to let everybody know. If you're also a movie freak like Sarah and I, then you might be interested in this. And so, in my good list here is one that is extremely recommended for everybody. It's a movie called Harriet. And it is based on true events movie of Harriet Tubman, who was a slave in the late 1800s, and well, actually, no, it was the mid 1800s because it was before the Civil War. It was right before the Civil War, and true story of a slave woman who made her way to freedom, and she could not handle the fact that once she got to freedom, that there weren't more people trying to get slaves out of being slaves, and so she developed a way to get to not only her family but to other slaves and get them out and get them to, it's actually in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which was a neutral territory, and once you got there, you as a slave you could actually become free, and it eventually was called the Underground Railroad of slavery, and it is one of the most incredible stories I believe there is, and she ended up freeing over 70 slaves in her life, and I think the Underground Railroad, at the end, it tells you how many slaves she freed, and the Underground Railroad was like almost 800 slaves that they got out of there, and was helped to develop a way for slaves to get out. And then, of course, even after the Civil War, that did not mean that slaves were not free at all. It said that they were free, but they really weren't. And so this movie is highly, highly recommended. And so you can get it at Redbox. I'm sure you can get it anywhere. It could be on demand or rent it in the box and get it. But the movie is Harriet, and it's about Harriet Tubman. One of the great things in the movie is it kept developing, and she kept going and getting people out. They nicknamed her Moses because she freed the slaves, and it was really, actually they kept saying Moses, and I didn't catch it until after a little bit. It's like, oh, what a great name for her, because she was getting people slaves out of it. It was really good, and I highly recommend it. It will be a movie that I will buy. Now, second positive movie, but this is more for men. It just depends on how much you like action movies and shoot 'em ups and like that. One of the things that I didn't know that you learn in this movie is that, well, let me just ask you, Sarah, how many bridges do you think go in and out of New York City? New York City is on Long Island. It's on an island. So, and you have the Hudson River and other channels and everything in there. So it has to have bridges going in and out. How many bridges do you think that there are going in and out of New York City?
12.
12. Well, you're about half right.
Oh, wow.
There are 21 bridges. going in and out of New York City. And that's what this movie is that it's a shoot 'em up. It's literally a couple of guys that went in to steal 30 kilos of cocaine, got in there and found out it was actually 300 kilos of cocaine. And on their way out, they killed a bunch of cops. And so in New York City, well, anywhere, if you kill one cop, all the cops drop everything they're going to do. And everybody, all the cops go after this one or two people. Well,
it's kind of like bees. When you kill a bee, they send off pheromones, and then other bees can't come.
Really? I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. How interesting. I didn't know. Well, don't kill any bees anyway. It's not good anyway. They maintain life on Earth, so don't ever do that. But anyway, this movie happened like at 1 o'clock in the morning. And so they were scared of them getting out of the city, because once they got out of the city and into a different state, now the FBI is involved. And so the cops of the city, they wanted these two guys because they killed like 9 cops. And so they wanted these guys. And so what they did was they closed all 21 bridges going in and out of New York City so they could keep them in the city and track them down and get them. And the FBI gave them until like 5 o'clock because they need to open up the city. I mean, you can't shut down the city the next day, 7 days a week. And so anyway, good movie if you like the shoot 'em ups and all that. It's got a minimum of cuss words and stuff like that, which you wouldn't believe for a movie like this. But anyway, it's one of my picks. I like it. I like that kind of thing. The movie is called 21 Bridges.
21 Bridges.
So anyway, I like that. Now here's another one that your mom and I liked, and we just saw this one yesterday. And it's got a lot of people and a lot of big actors in it. Once again, an extreme minimum of curse words, no sex, nudity, any of that kind of stuff. But Sarah, you know what I mean when I say a whodunit movie.
Whodunit.
Yeah, whodunit. It's like almost like a detective movie. It's like a Sherlock Holmes type of thing. Only it's in present day, and there is a murder, but it's not really a murder. It's said they think the guy committed suicide, but the detective doesn't think it's a suicide. He thinks it's a murder, and it's a whole family of whacked out people. That's what makes it good. It's like a comedy drama, but it's a whodunit, and it is just full of famous movie stars. Daniel Craig plays the main character, and it has a lot of really good characters. But any whodunit movie or story or book always has the most unique characters, because that's what makes up the story. Right. Is all the different people and who did what and that kind of thing. So this comes highly, highly recommended too. If you like to like the whodunit type movies. Only thing that I have to tell you is that in any of these kind of movies, you have to pay attention from the first second to the last second, because every different thing that happens is a clue. And if you don't pay attention to what's going on in the movie, you're going to miss the clues and you're going to get confused. And it's like, I don't know what's going on. And that so you have to pay attention to this one, but it comes highly recommended. Called Knives Out. IVES, Knives Out.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Now let's go with ones that we don't recommend at all. And let's start with the Joker. And I know you've seen the Joker, or Joker, I think it is. It's not the
Just
Joker.
Joker.
And I saw it when it came out, and had a couple other people say, "Hey, have you seen this?" And I am a huge Batman fan. I watched all the seasons of Gotham. Loved it. You know, it's the background to Batman, and they're constantly making TV shows and movies that are the background because the characters that were created. But once again, even Batman in the comic book series, when it was first created, most people realized that it's very dark, and it was created dark. And even the comic books are dark. And so when you watch anything, Gotham or Batman movies or the Superman versus Batman or anything like that, you have to go in knowing that it's dark, even though he's a good person and he goes out to solve crimes and bring the bad guys in, which is a good thing. Everything behind it is going to be dark. And so this movie follows the same thing. This man he's dark, you know, and he's insane, but he's also kind of been it's a bully movie. It is a movie where people don't treat each other good, and a lot of people that are bullied learn defenses, and this is that type of movie. I don't recommend it unless you are highly founded in the Lord, and this is something you watch to make sure that you understand the dark side of things. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. But you want to give your assessment of the movie at all?
Well, I'm not really big in Batman. Never really watched anything of it at all, but I do know a lot of stories of the Joker and real life scenarios of people that play the Joker. And you know, my husband is very into it, very, very, very into it. And he got to pick the movie on movie night, and so he brought that one home. He was very much interested. He'd been wanting to see it. And so going into watching it, knowing that Batman is dark, but really not knowing anything else about Batman and the Joker, I was completely entranced and intrigued. Completely. Now I want to watch all the Batman things, you know, and I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love him. The first time I'd ever seen him was The Village. So I really liked him.
That's right. One of yours and my favorite movies of all time, The Village.
Yeah. He was
another one with big actors in it that is a M. Night Shyamalan movie. And
Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah, or whatever his name is. An M. Night movie, one of his very first, and very intriguing. Go ahead, sorry.
So yeah, with the whole bullying aspect in it, you know, what it did for me is everything I've ever heard about the Joker and everything. It gave life and reality to why the Joker was the way he was.
Right.
So
background,
exactly. And I love background when it comes to stories and stuff, like knowing even if it's a fictional person, knowing who this person is deep down. So that was really good. I liked it. Like you said, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless you're into that and go in knowing that it's
unless you're very, very, very grounded in the Lord, and
It's
And you know
intense. It's so real
right,
that it's so intense. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and it also leaves it wide open at the
yeah,
end.
wide open. I mean,
Well,
yeah, it does. It's, yeah, it's good.
that is why Gotham was so good. The series Gotham, and I think it was on Sci-Fi. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember exactly what channel that came out on, and I watched the whole series on Hulu. But the whole story, as a matter of fact, it started off with Batman only being 12 years old, I think, 10 or 12 years old. And when I first started watching it, I thought, wait, hold up. Batman's only a kid. How are you going to do a Batman story? But it wasn't a Batman story. It is literally all the background to the understanding of who all the characters were in the Batman series created,
Hmm.
by. And so once again, highly warned that you really have to be grounded in who you are. You have to know your boundaries. Don't go into this without already knowing your boundaries and who you
Yeah.
are. So anyway, okay. So after that, another dark one that I absolutely did not really care for at all was Doctor Sleep. And
Hmm.
Doctor Sleep is the new, it's almost a sequel to, but really wasn't, to The Shining. And
Oh,
and it just wasn't very well done.
really? Okay.
Storyline was not good. And even though they ended up going back to the same hotel that The Shining was done in and all that, it just, to me, it was capitalizing on a huge iconic movie called The Shining, and it's like somebody wanted to make some more money off of the original Stephen King
Hmm.
storyline, and it was just not well done. I love Ewan McGregor, love his acting and all his movies and everything, but I'm sorry he picked this one to be in. So anyway,
We saw that preview to that
yeah,
watching when we were watching the Joker. And I actually, there was a couple previews going into Joker that I was like, skip, skip. I don't even want to see that. Skip. And then that one happened, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's not like scary, It was, and so I played it a little bit, and then it started getting creepy. So I skipped it, and then Cameron goes, no. I was like, I'm sorry. And then right as you saw on the door, red rum, and it hit me
uh-huh.
what it
Sure,
was. And I was like,
sure.
oh, dang. So that's something we've been interested in seeing. So we'll watch it to get our own perspective. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you reviewed it for us.
The storyline is really not that good.
But I've only
So
seen The Shining one time, and I was like
right.
17 or something. It's been a long time. That's 11 years ago.
Well, they've used a character from, actually the main character of Ewan McGregor is the son
Right. Right.
of the guy that maintained The Shining. Was about a guy that maintained a massive
Huge.
hotel. In the wintertime they had to shut down because they
Hmm.
didn't get anybody there, but they needed somebody to live in the hotel during those winter months to keep it maintained.
Right.
And it was a man and his wife and his son. Now,
Hmm.
so this movie is the son now grown up,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
means that the son has all those memories and everything and everything. So that's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
Storyline's
Yeah.
not that good, I didn't think. Anyway.
Right.
So now one that you said that you watched It's an old one. Is Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. and, and with Matthew McConaughey. And I haven't seen it. Sarah saw it, but it's kind of it's another one in the long lineup of Christmas Carol movies, and, which is fun. It's a fun scenario. In other words, it always takes people that are not good people at all and then shows them their life to try to get them to turn around. And I mean, I like talking about this because this type of thing it's not a religious movie, but any of them, even the Christmas Carol is really not a religious movie, but the concept of getting saved and living a life for the Lord literally has to do with taking possession of your past and knowing that it's your past and that your past is not something that you want to hold on to. You want to give it to the Lord and move on to newer things.
Right. So. Yeah, the reason we watched it last night is Cameron and I just started doing weekly date nights. So every Tuesday is our evening after we put the boys to bed. We play games, watch movies, whatever we want to do. And
it's just Tuesday night. So do you go to Blockbuster first or?
So, we just want to spend more intentional time with each other. And then once a month, on the third Tuesday of every month, we're leaving the home to have a date night. So I've budgeted out our money that we get to spend on that night. So it's like we don't even have to think about it. So we're just trying to be more intentional about the time that we're spending together. And so Cameron said, let's do popcorn and a movie night. And so he picked the movie. And so, yeah, I mean, anything with Matthew McConaughey pretty much is going to be great. But it was funny. It was hilarious. But it was a good one.
Let me make a suggestion on how your mom and I do this, because your mom, she can care less. There's movies I know she doesn't like, so hey, if I want to watch them, I'll get them and watch them on my own time. But and of course, I love, even though she's not a big movie person, I love to watch movies with her, like Knives Out. She really enjoyed that movie. Yeah. And I know that's the type of movie that she likes. So what I do is, especially with Redbox, since we get our movies at Redbox, less than $2 a movie if you get them. And anyway, is that they also have trailers. So, I go through and I'll watch several trailers and I'll figure out what movies I like and that we might like. And so I will show her, several trailers, 2, 3, 4 trailers, and say, okay, now you pick, what movie would you like out of those? See, or when we watch the trailers, maybe we're not going to rent a movie that night, but we watch several trailers and then I see, oh, yeah, I don't think I would ever enjoy that one, but that would be cool. I like that, and then I'll make a mental note or do a bookmark with them. And so that might be a suggestion for both of you, since both of you are movie nuts, is to look up trailers and go to the redbox.com website, and you can, every movie that's in there, you can see the trailer too. So, of course, we don't have cable or anything like that. We watch everything on the internet and through browsers. So I have a folder that has movies, and I keep track of whatever it is that we like. And so that's an idea. It's maybe a little better idea. And of course, there are all kinds of different channels out there. For instance, Encourage, or as I'm here looking at here, there's Encourage TV, and there's all kinds of different places.
Yeah.
Great movies that are very positive, very good, all that kind of thing.
Speaking of that, did you guys watch Overcomer?
We did. It was
It's
a very
good.
good movie. We liked it. Tova, came over and we watched all that together.
Nice. That one was, I've watched that a couple times now. Anything with Priscilla Schreier in it, I'm
yeah.
going to watch it.
Yeah.
I love her teachings.
Yeah, we like that kind of stuff. You bet.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. So that is that's our movie moment, or our media moment type thing. And so I know a lot of people don't care for that, but okay. So our next deal, and I don't really, I have I have an intro for this, but I'm just not real sure where it's at. So we're going to do words not. And let me bring this up because see if we can. Okay. So what I'm showing here is my folder in my my email client. And Sarah and I were talking about this before. I have a folder down here called Words Not, and the one there is words. And if you'll look here under words, there's 683 words in there, and in this there's 200 in words not, there's 295 words now. So that's like a little over twice as many words that I know.
Yeah.
And half as many that I don't know. So if I don't know the definition to words, I slip them into words not. If I know the definition, I put them in words. And so I'm going to spin through here, and as soon as you say stop, I will stop and we'll look at that. We're going to go words not first. So
Okay. And stop.
This one is Wellerism. Wellerism. I don't know if you can read it. Can you read that? No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. A type of pun based on a conflict between the literal and figurative sense of a quoted statement, confused by the context of the statement. Oh, I see, said the blind man. I get it. So that's Wellerism, huh?
Wellerism.
Okay, so down here it's got in play. Rather than invent examples using this word, let's explore some examples of Wellerism. So examples are, everyone to his own taste, said the old woman as she kissed her cow. We'll have to rehearse that, said the undertaker as the coffin fell out of his vehicle. Oh my gosh. It all comes back to me now, the captain said as he spat into the wind. Oh my gosh. I'll meet you at the corner, as one wall said to the other. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, these are a little old. Yeah, I remember
That's good.
Yeah, those are really cool. So, so can you think of any Wellerisms? Because that kind of stuff is usually not something that just comes to my mind.
No.
No,
Not witty.
Yeah, witty. It's witty stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that now that we know this, we'll recognize it. It'll pop in our brain when we think of stuff like that. So
right.
So Wellerisms, when it comes to living a godly lifestyle, would be things that we could say when talking to somebody about God, or living a lifestyle is things like, so living for God is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Life is just great all the time. Said somebody that experienced it. I don't
Right. Yeah.
something like that. I don't know. But anyway, we'll probably be, anytime we run into those things, we'll now know what they're called.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, check it out. The Lord just works in amazing ways. Word history. Wellerisms were named after Sam Weller, Mr. Pickwick's witty servant in Charles Dickens' novel popularly called The Pickwick Papers. Now, Charles Dickens is the one that wrote A Christmas Carol. We were talking about that type
Right.
of movie earlier. So isn't it amazing?
That was good.
It works like that. So, okay, words not. Well, let's do words. Let's see. These are words that I'm supposed to know. I'm going to jump to, wait just a second. I'm going to jump to, this is words 101 to 200 out of 683. So here we go. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Succotash.
Succotash.
You know what succotash is?
I just know that there's someone that says succotash.
Well, that would be cartoon character that looks like a cowboy. Suffering
succotash.
Suffering succotash. That's
Yeah.
what it is. But do you know what succotash is?
Nope.
Okay, it's like I always think, and I'm not going to look at it here, but I always think of it as like peas and carrots.
Okay.
That is so. It's a vegetable dish consisting of corn and lima beans, possibly enlivened with strips of pimento or perhaps even boiled tomato or two.
Huh.
Oh, interesting, because I always thought that it was it was peas and carrots.
We eat peas and carrots a lot in our house.
Yeah. Okay, so the notes here say, great suffering succotash.
Yeah.
Who cares about this word? Well, succotash was popularized by Looney Tunes character Sylvester the Cat. It wasn't the character I thought it was, who every time he was foiled by his arch nemesis, Tweety Bird. Who did you know that loved Tweety Bird?
Yo mama.
My mama. That's right. Your grandma.
Everything was Tweety Bird.
Yep. And she had little things of Tweety Bird all over the place. So
some people don't realize that Tweety Bird was actually a boy.
Tweety Bird was a boy.
Yep.
Yeah, you thought because he was so sweet and everything, you thought he was a girl. But
yeah.
Okay, not that I know that anybody would care one way or the other, but so let's so every time, let's see, let's use this towards the kingdom of God. Succotash. Well, it's a healthy food, and we need to stay healthy so we can stay strong and vital for the kingdom and be able to go out and tell people about the Lord.
Maybe I'll make some succotash as a side dish for a Pesach Seder.
There you go. That's a good way to use the word. And if I get frustrated with life, I can say Great suffering succotash. That wasn't good at all. Thank you, Lord, for getting me through this.
Yeah. Better to say that than some other things. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
better.
yeah. That's right.
Yep.
You got that right. You sure you got that right. All right. Well, really cool. Really cool.
That was really good. That was fun. I never knew that succotash was actually like a thing. You know, a lot of things that characters say are totally made up, but leave it to Looney Tunes. It's always got a real meaning to it.
How interesting. Yeah,
Mouse
I
chasing
thought
a
it was.
cat.
What's that?
A mouse chasing a cat.
Chasing a cat. Yeah.
The boys love watching the Tom and Jerry disc that you got them. Emmett
cool.
has a Tom and Jerry shirt that he goes, Grandpa gave me this movie.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Oh.
Yeah, that Tom and Jerry was one of my very favorite cartoons. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
very cool.
Huh.
All right, very good. Well, thanks for playing that. Words are extremely important in our lives to know the backgrounds, to know what the words are, and to work those. So, all right. Well, let's. Sorry, I'm drifting on to my other things here. Next week, I am going to continue on my series about Romans 7 and 8. I am going to take, I stopped at first a few verses into Romans 8, and I'm going to continue on with that for the next week's show. And so I need to go a little early today, so I think we're going to cut this one a little bit short, and look forward to having you on the show next month. And like I say, at any point in time that Cameron is off on a Wednesday morning, I'd love to have him come and join and be a part of the show. So
yeah. Wednesday's a recording day for him, so he might be able to just go in late.
Oh,
come join us, for the first half, and then go into work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, present
I'll
that
talk to him
to him,
about it.
and
I will.
we'll figure that out. And so, well, hug my boys for me.
I shall.
And I guess we'll see you next month.
Sounds good. We'll see you next time.
All right. God bless. Love you, sweetheart.
Love you too.
Love you all, and we'll see you next week.